I mean, since you brought her up.
Yeah, we talked and it's done.
What was his name again?
Who cares?
Victor. It was Victor.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Aye! Hey, listen, if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor. You know, we're trying to hit that 50k subs. You understand? We're trying to take this thing global, baby. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you click on that bell button for notifications of the uploads. And for those of you returnees, you got the minerals. You got the minerals. Talking to you guys about Insecure. We're going to talk about the body language and some things that we kind of noticed as well. So give me a second or two. Yeah. All right. So, first thing I want to just drop on, obviously I'm not going to show the clip because it is very sexual in nature, but the first thing that we see obviously is them obviously having sex. Now I want to point out to the very obvious thing. This sex obviously is to show the intimacy between the two of them and to show the connection that they have. Because the sex wasn't just, at one point, just obviously, you know, doggy in and all that kind of stuff. It was also, so the first scene that we see obviously is obviously having sex, and then we get clips in between of them actually chilling together, eating together, sitting side by side, watching it on the laptop, etc., etc. And one thing I want to say about the sex is that they show it very clearly that sex is involving kissing. I think it's very, very clear because the sex that we saw with was it Cassius or whatever his name was, or Clax, whatever his name is, from a few episodes earlier on in the season, is all about making sure that she's just getting a pounding. Yeah, making sure she's getting her goodies, right? Whereas involving where it's between her and Lawrence, we're seeing kissing in between. The whole point is to show a level of intimacy. It's not just sex, it's beyond that. It's us connecting, it's us bringing sexual intimacy to the foreground. And so that's what they're kind of showing us straight from that jump. They want you to understand that their relationship is completely different. The sex that they're not having sex, they're making almost in a sense love, right? It's completely different from the one that she was having with my man at the beginning of the season, okay? Then we start to see the little instances where they're sitting together by the time of the laptop. So again, they're kind of showing us this quality time love language where you're actually spending.
It's just high priced.
You may not be doing anything heavy, but you're spending time together, doing things together. What we call this is the Oxytocin syndrome. I call it that anyway. I call it that because what Oxytocin does is helps to bond people together. When people have sex, one of the things that are released in sex is oxytocin, meaning that sex is not free. And that what helps to help, it's like a bonding agent. Yeah, a bit like your egg in your cake. It's a bonding agent that helps to bring together two people, right? And so when you do things together, like sitting on a laptop and watching films together, enjoying each other's presence, what happens is then the oxytocin is released in order for both parties to be able to bond correctly. And that's the same thing in sex, right? So we're seeing these oxytocin moments with a laptop, and then you see at one point where he's resting his head on her lap. Now, I'm going to do a video on this anyway, but I spoke about these two things. Women rest their head on your chest, a man rests his head on a lap. Whenever you rest your head on a lap or a chest, you are putting yourself in the most vulnerable position. You are saying your most delicate part of your body, which is your mind, yeah, is being rested in that person's hands. Yeah, it's been rested upon their body. That is one of the greatest signs of trust. That's why they show us that image where he's resting his head on her lap, and you see that she's stroking his hand. It's to show you this level of intimacy that has been so missing for such a long time for Issa in the whole of the season. She's finally got her intimacy back with somebody who actually understands her, who gets her, who feels her. And this is the kind of relationship that we're all looking for in a relationship, right? We're all looking for that person that we can rest our head on their lap or rest their head on their chest. I remember it said that a woman rests their head on the chest to hear his heartbeat to make sure he's still human. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's mad. And a man rests his head on the lap because he's letting her know that, listen, no matter how strong I am, you still got me. You understand? No matter how strong I am, I'm still vulnerable to you, right? Cool, because that's what Samson did to Delilah, and Delilah took advantage. Anyway, so we see that opening scene and we're seeing this great intimacy. Fast forward and we see that both of them sitting on the couch. And what's really interesting is not the original position. Now, although they're sitting opposite sides of the chair, their comfortability, we're seeing a duvet on the legs, we're seeing the eye contact, we're seeing them, obviously, I'm giving you good body language in a sense that I'm facing you, right? And that's very, very crucial because that allows them to have a conversation but still maintain the closeness and the proximity. Something happens when they begin to discuss Nathan though. When Issa begins to discuss Nathan, when she puts her head down, she's open, her arm isn't on the chair. Like one of her arms.
I sound old.
No, Nathan is a guy I used to date a while ago, but we're just friends.
On the chair. Her left arm isn't on the chair. Her right arm is. Then when she begins to speak about Nathan, her arm goes onto the chair. It goes into a relaxed position, right? Because what she's about to say is going to need some... She's trying to show that she's a non-threat, right? It's all body language. She's trying to show that this is a non-threat situation, but I need to discuss something with you. It's about Nathan, it's about a guy, and I need to show you non-threat. Yeah? And so it's interesting that she rests her arm on the chair to show that, okay, look, this conversation about Nathan. When she finishes about Nathan, what happens? Her arms go back down again. You see, so it was used for a moment. We don't realize these little things that are doing, but we're doing it so that we can actually show the person we're a non-threat. That this situation is a non-threat. You know what I'm saying? And so that was very, very important to see that. The next scene that we kind of see is Molly, and Molly's kind of body language here is that she is sitting in talking to the psychiatrist, and what's interesting is her forward position. Her legs are branched open, and her arms are in, very much how like a man normally would sit, and it's to show a forward, almost like a forward aggression. It was done on purpose, I'm sure, that they made Molly sit in this aggressive position. And when I say aggressive, it means I'm taking up a position. I'm taking up her territory. I'm on the front foot, okay? I'm on the front foot. I'm ready to battle when you're ready to go. What are you trying to say? You know, rather than her sitting almost in a, I want to call it ladylike position, she takes on this a very abrasive, man-like, masculine-like type of position. I think it's done on purpose to show that she's in a place where she's been abrasive and she's in a situation where she's in a fight. You know, her emotion. But yeah, it's just interesting to see her behavior and the way that she even, at one point was like, now, if you've watched Dudes in the Corner, you hear that you might see man talking and say, yo, bro, you know how it goes down, you know how it be, right? And I know that's I think that's a very, what's that, New Yorker kind of vibe that they normally have that. But, you know, seeing that type of American kind of talk way, you see that with the you know what I'm saying? Like, that already just shows you, I'm not saying that she is aggressive. I want you to understand something. That she took an aggressive stance in regards to the situation. Because when you see her talk about Issa, she changes her body language and her face softens. Everything about her softens, right? Even the way she's sitting. She doesn't necessarily close her legs or anything, but she softens her stance. And so that lets you know that she's antagonized. She's built up a lot of tension in the body. So this is tension that's being shown is that in the body stance.
Excited for you? I'm okay. I'm waiting for someone. A friend. Well, we used to be friends. We kind of still are. Maybe. Hopefully. She might hate me. You don't care. Y'all have smoked salmon?
Can I get you some alcohol, sis?
Gonna meet Molly. And what's really interesting is Issa's behavior. The waitress comes over and then Molly, Issa just can't stop talking. Like, she's been mad awkward. Like, I know she's normally awkward, but she's been very awkward now and talking a lot at speed as well. Like, she ain't slowing it down and ordering things. Like, she really was feeling some nervous type of way. And then later on we see her going to meet Nathan, which is really interesting because the very first thing that happens when the door opens is, hey, my nigga! It's awkward not because she's awkward. It's awkward because she knows why she's there.
Konnichiwa. What's appropriation? My nigga.
Hey, come on in.
Hey, what up?
And I'm not saying she's out there to try and get him to fall or anything like that. No. I'm just saying that there's a reason why they made her wear an orange jumpsuit. Now, if you know anything about, obviously, you guys know you're in America, you know. Orange jumpsuit, criminal, right? At a certain level. So what it was showing was that the orange jumpsuit was a synonym of the fact that she's guilty in the way she is at the moment. When I say guilty, what do I mean? I mean in the sense of she knows why she's there. She knows that this guy likes her. She knows this. You understand? But she's looking for answers. What are the answers? Why did you leave? That's why she uses it later on, right? Why did you leave? And she's very much aware of his behavior because even when she steps in, it's a normal hug. She decides to try and turn her body, right? That means you are consciously aware that you feel like he's going to overstep the boundary, which makes you guilty because you're now complicit in knowing that this guy likes you this way and you're still trying to say, I'm coming to help you, when really you're not. Just be honest, you came to have a conversation, you want to find out why he decided to ghost you for a year or whatever it was, right? So that happened. And we're seeing obviously him trying to close the gap in the space. And people do this where they're trying to close the space because they're trying to obviously show you that they like you, number one. Two, if I can close the space, I can then get into your world. I can then begin to, inflict an influence in your world. Do you know what I mean? And that's what he was looking to do. And so you see Issa dodging him once or twice, switching from side to side, right? He's clocking it. He's aware. He's aware that she's not on it like that. Or at least he's aware that she's trying to keep distance, right? And then obviously then they go into the kitchen and then we see this very interesting debate between the two of them when she mentions finally, oh, hey, I got a boyfriend. And you see that instantly he goes from one side to the kitchen cabinet. Yeah? Now the reverse has happened. Beforehand, she was creating a distance because she didn't want to get too close. Now he creates his own distance. Why? Because it represents how he feels now. Oh, so you're not on this anymore. Okay, distance. Yeah? And then when that happens, you see that obviously he begins to speak about Issa's saying, oh, what? You mean your boyfriend that you cheated on? The guy that you cheated on? Da-da-da. He starts throwing...
Cool. One you cheated on?
Yeah. It's still new. We're figuring it out.
These hurtful jabs, and you can see Issa's face. At first, she takes it, and then when he goes on, she becomes defensive over the situation, right? And then what you see is that when he mentions the reason why he was away for so long about the fact he was bipolar, you see that that they both close the gap towards each other. And suddenly, oh, there's the truth. Once the truth is revealed, vulnerability can take place.
That was a relief.
I'm so sorry you went through all that.
Once both people know where they stand, vulnerability can take place. And when vulnerability takes place, we can close the proximity. When I don't know your true intentions, or when I'm not sure about your intentions, I have to keep you at distance. I have to keep you at bay. It's proximity, so that you don't get the wrong idea, right? And so now, when the truth is revealed about what he's thinking, what she's thinking, we can close the gap again. Then later on, we see, obviously, with Issa and Nathan and Molly and Andrew. Isn't it interesting that, obviously, they are at the top of the balcony and they're at the bottom of the balcony? There's a reason for it. The top of the balcony has been chosen so that it can show that these two are meant to be what they were regarded as were the perfect couple. Or sometimes they're perfect, the good couple, right? We're not suffering, not having no problems. Remember, Molly's always telling about Issa's always in a messy situation. So you're at the top, right? Because you don't have problems. You were saying already in the baby shower that, oh, that's what I love about me and Andrew. We discussed this, that, but you were lying because there was emotional intimacy that was lacking, and you weren't discussing family. But cool. But now they're standing at the top of the balcony and looking down on the other two, right? It's like the good relationships looking down at the ones who haven't made it, right? It's on purposely done. It's to show us these two angles. And then obviously the fact that even when she comes out, we see a united front with herself and Andrew. And couples do this when they're trying to obviously make sure that everybody knows that we're doing good. We're doing fine. We fight indoors, basically. But you can see her apprehension in that she didn't want she didn't want necessarily Issa and Nathan to stay because they were discussing something. It was awkward. But Andrew was cool with it. And it's interesting the fact that obviously Issa was trying, she sussed this. And she tried to get away, but she couldn't lie enough. She couldn't do it well. She ain't a good liar. And I found it funny as well when she said, oh, damn, what's in the box, man? Like, that scene killed me. I'm not gonna lie to you,
Why are you packing like that?
You all right?
laughing for days. And then the kind of final, I guess, aspect of things is obviously just looking at the very end. And I think, again, watching them two on the opposite sides of the sofa probably wasn't a really big deal because of your friends. Is obviously when they get outside and you can see the distance between the two of them, they can't get so close. And the reason why is because their relationship is at a standpoint where they're not that close. And that's really the truth of the matter. So I'm going to leave it on that. Let you guys kind of marinate on that. See what you lot think. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And let's go from there. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. More love. Make sure don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, man. We're taking it to 50K, baby. Appreciate you.